From wooden sailboats to nuclear-powered supercarriers, American ships have dominated the seas for over 2 centuries. Today, we track the complete evolution of the United States Navy across every single era. This is the story of American warships. Early naval era and the age of sail. Starting with the USS Constitution. Old Ironsides herself. This legendary wooden warship earned her nickname when British cannonballs literally bounced off her thick oak hull during the War of 1812. She's still commissioned today, making her the world's oldest floating warship. USS Chesapeake. A frigate that saw both glory and tragedy. Fast and powerful, she won several battles before meeting her end in a brutal 15-minute duel with the British HMS Shannon in 1813. USS United States. One of the original 6 frigates, she was a heavyweight champion. Built extra large and heavily armed, she absolutely crushed British warships that expected an easy fight. USS Constellation. The first ship completed for the new U.S. Navy in 1797. This sleek frigate protected American merchants from pirates and proved that America could build world-class warships. USS Essex. A scrappy fighter that raided British shipping in the Pacific during the War of 1812. She captured so many prizes that Britain sent multiple ships just to hunt her down. USS Bonhomme, Richard. John Paul Jones' legendary flagship. During a desperate night battle, the ship was literally sinking while still fighting. Jones refused to surrender, declaring, "I have not yet begun to fight." Civil War era. USS Monitor. This weird iron pancake revolutionized naval warfare overnight. Its rotating turret and ironclad armor made every wooden warship in the world obsolete in a single day. CSS Virginia. Formerly USS Merrimack. The Confederate ironclad that terrified the Union Navy. Covered in sloped iron plates, it demolished wooden ships until the Monitor showed up for their famous duel. USS New Ironsides. A heavily armored broadside ironclad that served as the Union's floating fortress. She absorbed thousands of hits during the war and just kept coming back for more. Galena. An experimental ironclad with interlocking armor plates. The design didn't work well, and she took a brutal beating during combat, proving that not all iron ships were created equal. CSS Hunley. The Confederacy's desperate submarine, essentially a metal tube powered by guys cranking handles. It successfully sank a Union ship, but tragically killed its own crew in the process. USS Kearsarge. Famous for hunting down and sinking the Confederate raider CSS Alabama off the coast of France. The battle was so anticipated that spectators watched from shore like it was a sporting event. Schuckler pre-World War I and early Steel Navy. Next up, USS Maine. The ship whose mysterious explosion started a war. "Remember the Maine" became the battle cry that launched America into the Spanish-American War in 1898. USS Olympia, Pa. Commodore Dewey's flagship during the Battle of Manila Bay. This protected cruiser led the charge that destroyed the entire Spanish Pacific Fleet in just a few hours. USS Texas. America's first battleship, representing the nation's emergence as a real naval power. She marked the transition from wooden sailing ships to modern steel warships. USS Indiana. Part of America's first modern battleship class. These coastal defense ships proved that the United States was ready to build vessels that could stand toe-to-toe with European navies. USS Oregon. Famous for racing from San Francisco around South America to join the fight in Cuba. Her epic 14,000-mile journey proved America desperately needed a canal through Panama. USS Holland. America's first commissioned submarine, tiny, cramped, and dangerous, but it opened the door to underwater warfare that would change naval combat forever. World War I. USS Pennsylvania. A super dreadnought battleship bristling with 12-inch guns, she represented American industrial might joining the Great War. USS Nevada. The first battleship with triple gun turrets and oil-fired boilers, she was faster, more powerful, and more modern than anything America had built before. USS Texas. Second one. A New York-class battleship that became the first U.S. warship to launch aircraft and use anti-aircraft guns. She's now a museum ship in Houston. USS Wyoming. A battleship later converted to a training ship. She spent decades teaching thousands of sailors how to operate big guns and complex weapon systems. USS Florida. Another dreadnought that patrolled during World War I. She wasn't flashy, but represented the steady expansion of American naval power. Interwar period. Before we continue, quick reminder to hit that like and subscribe button down below. Enjoy the video. Now we have USS Lexington. Originally planned as a battlecruiser, she was converted into one of America's first aircraft carriers. This change would define the future of naval warfare. USS Saratoga. Sister ship to Lexington, both were nicknamed Lady Lex and Sister Sarah. These massive carriers proved that planes could project power farther than any battleship gun. USS Langley. America's first aircraft carrier, converted from a coal ship. She looked like a floating tennis court, but she taught the Navy everything about carrier operations. USS Portland. A heavy cruiser that survived multiple torpedo hits and kamikaze attacks. She earned 16 battle stars and became known as Sweet Pea by her crew. USS Indianapolis. A heavy cruiser famous for secretly delivering atomic bomb components to Tinian Island. Tragically, she was sunk by a Japanese submarine shortly after, resulting in the Navy's worst single loss at sea. World War II. Here comes USS Enterprise. CV-6. The most decorated ship in U.S. Navy history. The Big E participated in nearly every major Pacific battle and earned 20 battle stars. USS Yorktown. CV-5. The carrier that turned the tide at Midway. Even after taking devastating damage, she stayed afloat and fighting until Japanese submarines finally finished her off. USS Hornet. CV-8. Famous for launching Doolittle's raid on Tokyo, proving Japan wasn't safe from American bombers. She also fought at Midway before being sunk at Santa Cruz. USS Iowa. The lead ship of America's most powerful battleship class. With 9 16-inch guns and incredible speed, the Iowa-class battleships were floating fortresses. USS Missouri. Mighty Mo, where Japan formally surrendered, ending World War II. She served in multiple wars and is now a museum ship in Pearl Harbor. USS New Jersey. The most decorated battleship, earning 19 battle stars. She served in World War II, Korea, Vietnam, and even saw action in Lebanon during the 1980s. USS Intrepid. An Essex-class carrier that survived 5 kamikaze attacks and 1 torpedo hit. Nothing could sink the Fighting Eye. She's now a museum in New York City. USS Gato, submarine class. These submarines strangled Japan's economy by sinking merchant ships. Silent, deadly, and incredibly effective at disrupting enemy supply lines. USS Tang. Submarine. The most successful submarine in terms of tonnage sunk. Her final patrol ended tragically when her own malfunctioning torpedo circled back and sank her. Cold War era. USS Nautilus. The world's first nuclear-powered submarine. She could stay underwater almost indefinitely and even traveled under the North Pole's ice cap. USS Enterprise. CVN-65. The first nuclear-powered aircraft carrier and the longest naval vessel ever built. She served for 51 years across multiple conflicts. USS Long Beach. The first nuclear-powered surface warship and guided missile cruiser. Her distinctive boxy superstructure made her instantly recognizable. USS George Washington. America's first ballistic missile submarine. These boomers carried nuclear missiles and could hide underwater for months, serving as the ultimate deterrent. USS Forrestal. The first of the supercarriers, designed from the keel up to operate jet aircraft. A tragic fire in 1967 killed 134 sailors and led to major safety improvements. USS Pueblo. A spy ship captured by North Korea in 1968. Her crew endured brutal captivity for nearly a year, and technically, she remains a commissioned U.S. Navy ship held by North Korea. Modern era. Now we have USS Nimitz. The lead ship of the class that defined modern supercarriers. Nuclear-powered, carrying up to 90 aircraft, these floating cities project American power worldwide. USS Ticonderoga. The first Aegis cruiser featuring revolutionary radar and missile systems that could track hundreds of targets simultaneously. She set the standard for modern naval defense. USS Arleigh Burke. The lead ship of the most successful destroyer class ever built. These workhorses carry Tomahawk missiles, advanced radar, and can do basically everything. USS Virginia. The newest class of attack submarines, featuring photonic masts instead of periscopes, and the ability to deploy special operations forces secretly. USS Zumwalt. A stealth destroyer that looks like it came from a sci-fi movie. Its angular design, electric propulsion, and automated systems represent the future of naval warfare. USS Independence. A trimaran littoral combat ship designed for speed and shallow water operations. It looks weird, but can deploy helicopters, boats, and unmanned systems rapidly. USS Freedom. Another littoral combat ship with a different design philosophy. Fast, modular, and built for coastal combat, where traditional destroyers can't operate effectively. Current and future. Finally, USS Gerald R. Ford. The newest and most advanced aircraft carrier ever built, featuring electromagnetic catapults, advanced reactors, and automation that reduces crew size by hundreds. USS America. A modern amphibious assault ship optimized for aviation operations. She can launch F-35B stealth fighters and serve as a mini carrier when needed. USS San Antonio. A new class of amphibious transport dock ships carrying Marines, landing craft, and helicopters. These ships put troops and equipment ashore for invasions and humanitarian missions. USS Michael Monsoor. The second Zumwalt-class destroyer, now being modified to carry hypersonic missiles. These ships represent the cutting edge of naval technology. Constellation-class frigates. Under construction. The Navy's new guided missile frigates designed to be affordable, lethal, and capable of operating worldwide alongside larger warships. From wooden frigates firing cannons to nuclear supercarriers launching stealth fighters, American ships have evolved from coastal defenders into the most powerful naval force the world has ever seen. The story continues with each new vessel that takes to the seas,